The Wolf King, to defend food and status, initiated a life-or-death duel with a brown bear alone. But due to the disparity in strength, he was finally slapped to the ground by the brown bear. He was at death's door, and his life entered a countdown. The wolf pack chose to abandon the dying Wolf King. Only the she-wolf stayed in place, crying continuously, and refusing to leave for a long time. And finally, she performed a path of survival with blood and tears for us. Just recently, the Wolf King and she-wolf led the pack hunting in the Alps. Winter here lasts for 8 whole months. The temperature drops to -40 degrees. The extreme environment makes food extremely scarce. Under the Wolf King's command and the wolves' cooperation, the pack, starving for a week, successfully hunted a deer. Hey! When the Wolf King and Queen were eating first, the eldest son, without permission, tried to eat at the table, openly challenged the Wolf King's authority. When both sides were at daggers drawn, a burly brown bear smelled the meat, came to compete for it. In order to defend the hard-won food, and also to deter the undisciplined eldest son, the Wolf King bared his teeth, faced the brown bear alone. The other members of the pack were sizing up the situation. Only the she-wolf was worried about her husband's safety. The brown bear seized the opportunity and swatted the Wolf King. This is a power that even tigers fear. The severely wounded Wolf King was covered in blood. He collapsed. The other members of the wolf pack quickly turned to the young eldest son. The new generation of Wolf King ascended to power. He led the wolf pack away quickly. The she-wolf stayed by the Wolf King's side, trying to wake her husband. But the Wolf King's injuries were too severe, and there was no hope for recovery. At this moment, the she-wolf only had 2 choices: abandon her dying husband, and follow the pack, to seek shelter, or stay by her husband's side, and accompany him in his final journey, then face the cruel world alone. The she-wolf didn't hesitate. She resolutely lay down beside her husband, until she turned into a cold corpse. People say that wolves are sinister and cunning animals. But in fact, this is just a human definition of wolves. The she-wolf showed us what unwavering love is. As scavengers circled in the sky, the she-wolf, who had stayed with her husband for days without eating or drinking, realized that she had to leave. He also had to leave, because he wasn't alone. She was already carrying the Wolf King's offspring in her belly. She had already lost her husband and her pack. There was no reason to lose her child as well. This territory, which originally belonged to him and the Wolf King, was no longer a place for him to stay. If he were to return to the pack at this time, the new Wolf King would cruelly kill him and the old Wolf King's offspring. For the sake of the child in her belly, the she-wolf embarked on a difficult journey of survival alone. Under the severe cold of -40 degrees, the she-wolf traveled more than 50 kilometers every day to avoid the territories of other wolf packs and seek a safe place to give birth. She had to cross dangerous snow-covered mountains. A bearded vulture with a wingspan of over 3 meters was eyeing the lone wolf in the air. It was very patient, waiting for the hungry she-wolf to collapse. Wolves are social animals. Without a pack, trying to survive alone in an extreme environment is almost impossible. But they underestimated the she-wolf's courage and perseverance. They also underestimated a mother's determination to survive. Women are born weak, but a mother is strong. She did not yield to fate. Nature is a cruel avalanche. happening without warning. But this didn't scare the she-wolf away. Instead, it brought her fresh food. After a ravenous meal, the remaining food was left for the bearded vulture watching nearby. Bearded vultures have a special taste. It has a strong stomach and loves the bones of its prey. Intact bones are difficult to swallow. It will then carry the bone and fly to a high altitude, and then aim for a stone and drop it. Finally, it swallows the bone, now broken in two. In just a few weeks, the she-wolf has crossed over 1,000 kilometers of snowy mountains. Her footprints span the entire Alps. As her due date approached, she came to the woods at the foot of the snow-capped mountains. She settled down in a tree hollow. On a stormy, rainy night, she struggled to give birth to 8 pups. Unfortunately, 2 of the pups died shortly after birth. Exhausted after giving birth, to prevent the corpses of the pups from attracting predators, she ate the deceased pups with great sorrow. After becoming a mother in the truest sense, the difficulty of her survival challenges increased exponentially. The pups couldn't do without milk, but the she-wolf couldn't go out to forage alone. She needed to protect the safety of her children at all times. For this reason, she could only look for earthworms and wild grass nearby to fill herself. Predators in the forest were everywhere. The she-wolf keenly sensed the approach of danger. A secretive bearded vulture has its eyes on the weak wolf cubs. It lurks nearby, stealthily, waiting for the opportunity for the she-wolf to go out and forage. This bearded vulture is also a mother raising her own children alone. The vigilant she-wolf didn't give it any chance. It gradually lost its patience. The 2 mothers look at each other before the vulture leaves. From each other's eyes, they saw the tenacity and unyielding courage of being a mother. 6 wolf cubs are growing up healthily under their mother's protection. They are full of curiosity about everything. One of the little male wolf cubs is especially naughty, daring to confront a wild boar. The few-month-old wolf cubs don't have the ability to get food yet. They must rely on their mother's milk and regurgitation. Long-term malnutrition makes the she-wolf emaciated. Her milk supply is severely insufficient. The hungry children constantly beg their mother for food. For the survival of herself and her cubs, the she-wolf targeted the human herd of sheep at the foot of the mountain, deciding to take a gamble, to take a risk. But the shepherd and his sheepdogs protected the flock very well, and did not give her a chance to attack. Looking at the cubs waiting to be fed, the she-wolf ultimately made a decision that went against her ancestors. She decided to leave the Alps with her cubs, to find a territory that truly belongs to them, far away. This was undoubtedly a risky move. They traveled day and night, carefully along the way, avoiding danger and predators' territories, crossing snow-capped mountains, and crossing rivers, until they reached the edge of the city. Their path was blocked by the brightly lit human city. They lingered on the edge of the city. Not until late at night did they have the courage to cross the city. and arrive at the other side of the mountain. Far from humans. The vegetation is lush, and resources are abundant. It will become their most ideal territory. These months of wandering, and a long journey of over 1,600 kilometers, are all worth it at this moment. They meet their old enemy again. The bearded vulture has already arrived here to settle down and breed offspring. The long winter is approaching. The 6 wolf cubs still can't hunt on their own. The food problem once again makes the she-wolf breathless. She urgently needs to find a partner to rely on. For this, she stood on the mountaintop, calling to the distance time and again, day and night. A lonely young male wolf responded from dozens of kilometers away. He followed the she-wolf's call, crossing the lake at night. Finally, at dawn, the 2 lonely souls met. They accepted each other. This land will soon give birth to a strong and prosperous wolf pack.